Hey guys, so we are back. I'm going to do another review video for you guys today, and this is on a completely new paint I've never used before, so I love doing those type of review videos. And the paint we are going to do is Country Chic Paint. I got two of the small sample sizes to try. We'll only use one for today. I can't decide yet what color I want to use. I got these beautiful colors. One, Peacoat, which is a beautiful navy, and then this one's called Jitterbug, and it's a really pretty teal green. So I can't decide which one I'm going to do yet. So it'll be a surprise when I tip the camera down. But anyway, I've been wanting to try this paint for quite a while. It's one that I've seen on the internet. It's been around for a while, and I did some reading about it, and I got excited and ordered up some of the paint. So I ordered it directly from Country Chic. I unfortunately didn't have a retailer in my area to be able to go out and look myself at the colors, which that's my most favorite thing to do when I'm looking for new paint, because as part of the review process I like to just kind of see how they display it and how many colors they have and all that good stuff. So unfortunately there just wasn't anybody near my area, so I ordered online, but it was very easy to order online. The shipping was pretty quick, and the color selection was pretty true to what I received, so I'm happy about that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and tip the camera down, and we will get started on our first coat as usual, and we'll talk about the paint during the process. Right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to dive right in. A couple of things I want to talk about is the fact that they do tell you to make sure that you turn the can upside down, shake it, open it up and stir it. It does come shipped really, really well, so that I mean, it came shipped so well I had a hard time getting off. It had the little white paper around the top that I had to cut away. It was also sealed with a plastic seal on the outside, which is really good, because if you order paint online, you know that sometimes it can show up and get damaged or be opened. In this case, it arrived perfectly safe and sound because of their packaging, so I like that. So I have chosen the 4-ounce size, which makes it a little challenge to get my brush in there because I use my big Klingon F50, but that's all right. We'll give it a try. Now I do like to show you guys the consistency of the paint, and I want to show you that this is a thicker consistency. It's not super thin and it's not super thick. If you look at that drip, it kind of is hanging on there. So it's a nice thick consistency, which is pretty typical of a clay-based paint, and that's what this is. It is a clay-based paint, and they tend to be a little thicker. Now, sometimes people will tell you that a thicker paint will go on smoother. I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. I'm not an expert as far as consistency goes on paint, but I can tell you that sometimes if the paint is too thick, it actually can be challenging to put on. Now, I'm finding with this, I am not finding a challenge whatsoever to put this paint on, and I apologize, I think my arm has been in the way for that shoot, so I'm sorry about that. But I'm not finding it a challenge at all. For a thick paint, this is going on very nicely. I'm able to work it over a few times and make sure that I get the coat that I want on there, and the coverage is really nice. So, as far as the application goes on the first coat, I'm liking it. So far, so good. And what a pretty color. I mean, I don't think that the camera captures just how pretty it is, but it is a really beautiful teal green. So let's go ahead and let that sit up. Now, normal dry time is 2 hours. That's pretty typical for this type of paint. So if you were painting an entire piece, I would say wait the 2 hours for sure before recoating, because that's what the brochure also says. And we'll talk a little bit about the brochure that they sent with the product, because I think that's awesome. But anyway, we're going to wait about 30 minutes because this is a small practice board, and this is not solid wood. This is a piece of molding, and it will probably dry a lot faster. So let's go ahead and let that set up, and we will come back and we will do the second coat and see what's going on. So we're going to go ahead and let that first coat set up, and while we do, we're going to talk a little bit about, I mentioned that they sent a brochure with my shipment, and they sent this great brochure. Actually, they sent two, and we'll talk about this one in a little bit in the video. But this is so smart, and it was such a great added thing to have in my shipment of paint. I can tell you I order a lot of paint, and I can't recall that I've had anybody ever send me brochures with my paint, which is kind of cool. In this brochure, they talk about their company, they talk about the steps in which you're going to need to follow. Sorry, there's quite a glare. But they're going to talk about some of the steps. They talk about prepping your piece. So really, really added value here, especially for someone who's new and has those types of questions. They're answering them for you right here. So that's awesome. So a little bit about the paint. It is an all-in-one paint, and what does that mean? It means that it has a primer and a top coat built in. Now, let me just expand on that just a tad. That doesn't mean that you may not have to prime a piece. That doesn't mean that you may not want to top coat the piece. So I'll give you an example. When you have like a mahogany or cherry piece of furniture and you're gonna be using white, and you go directly with the paint on that furniture, you may have the chance that that is going to bleed through, because those types of furniture woods have a tendency to do that, especially with light colors, and you'll end up with pink. So there are cases in which you will need to prime even when you're using a paint that has a primer built into it. So just keep that in mind. But for the majority of the paint colors, you probably won't run into that. So the primer helps with the adhesion, and the top coat is obvious, right? It helps with the durability. Now, we'll talk more in the video later on about top coating and some choices there. So anyway, I just wanted to mention this great little brochure. And since I could not get into a retailer where they carried this, I thought that was just an extra added value that they put that in there. So that was kind of cool. But anyway, the paint does not smell. And I mention that because not everybody works outside or in a workshop. Some of us might be working in our homes. And so, you know, smell is important. You don't want a stinky paint. So I know it sounds funny, but I always kind of give a little sniff test to the paints that I'm trying. And this one has no odor, which is awesome. So that's kind of a good thing to know. So let's go ahead and get back to our practice board here, and we'll see what the first coat looks like since it's been dry. All right, so let's go ahead and get this second coat on. As most of you know, I always wrap up my brush in saran wrap in between coats. Saves me time from having to wash it. And why, if we're just going to go back? So one of the reasons I think that I'm missing, and I noticed this the other day in a video shoot, but one of the reasons I'm missing parts is because I'm painting sitting down. For those of you that don't know, I have a cast on right now, and so normally I don't paint sitting down, I paint standing up, so I missed a spot. So that was me, operator error. So anyway, we're going in now with our second coat. I will cover all those spots I missed. I have waited about 30 minutes, and I had to tell you, this is going on so nicely and so smoothly, and I'm just impressed because I've had paints where, like I told you, the consistency is a little bit on the thicker side and it's not as nice and smooth. Now, I always tell you guys that a lot of the application process and how it goes on also depends on the tools you use. So I can't say enough good things. I am not endorsed or sponsored by Klingon. I wish I were, but I can't say enough good things about their brushes. The application process, even on some of the tougher paints that I've come across, isn't as tough as it could be. So I really, really do recommend getting some good brushes if this is something you're going to be doing often. So our second coat is on. It's gone on nice and smooth, as you can see. The board doesn't move around or wiggle. I'm not having any dragging issues. So I really like the application process of this paint. So let's go ahead and let this one dry up, and then we will come back and we will talk about the application and all the coverage and all the good things, and we'll do our final recap. And guys, we are at the end of the video where we're going to do the recap and review, and I'm going to show you the end result on the practice board. So let's just go ahead and take a look. That is 2 coats, which is just beautiful. The coverage, I'm going to show you really close so you guys can see. There are no brush strokes in that. The coverage is beautiful. It is a matte finish. So if you love the look of that chalky matte finish, you're going to love this paint. So with that being said, I wanted to talk about that other brochure that they put in my packaging, which is their specialty products, their other products. And just like the other brochure on the paint, this talks about all of their other wax, their tough coat they call it, which is the top coat. They have some metallic creams, they have some texture, finishes, texture powder. So they go over all of this in their other brochure. So that kind of brings up that question of, do I need to seal this or not? The answer is no, you do not need to. They say that this is an all-in-one paint with the primer and top coat built in. So if you like this look, this finish, you don't need to seal it. Now, if you want more of a satin look or maybe just even a shiny look, you just want to change the look, then I would absolutely recommend using a top coat. You can use either a wax or you can use a polyacrylic water-based top coat. Both of those are going to not only deepen the color but add that durability to the product as well. So standalone, they say it's just fine. But if you want, for me, I sell my pieces or I do client pieces and I want to make sure that I am sending them out the door with the utmost durability on that piece the moment that it leaves here. So I typically top coat mine, like all of the time, unless I have a request and someone doesn't want a top coat on it, which I don't think I've ever had that request, but so I myself would put a top coat on this, and I'm probably, after we go off camera here, I'm gonna go ahead and top coat this, and in the end of the video, I'll put a snapshot in there so you can see what the difference is and what it looks like, and so that way we have kind of a comparison. But let's talk about the product itself. I really liked this. I'm kind of disappointed that I hadn't tried it sooner because it is a paint that I really liked. So let's talk about the things that I really liked about it. The application was really easy. First and second coat laid down beautifully. Sometimes you'll have issues with one or two coats coming off kind of weird, maybe dragging, and maybe, I've had videos that I've shot before where I'm literally dragging the board around because I'm having a hard time laying that paint down. This was not like that. The consistency is a thicker type of paint, but it doesn't seem to hinder that application process whatsoever. So I really would say on the application, I really liked it. The coverage, I really liked it. One coat, and I didn't go particularly heavy on putting that paint down. One coat gave great coverage. Second coat picked up wherever I might have missed. So I would say ideally 2 coats is what you want to put on with this paint. Now, I like to tell everybody in my review videos that this is my experience and my opinion. You could have an entirely different one. I'm just sharing with you my experience from today. Now, I will tell you that painting a practice board is different than painting a piece of furniture. I'm absolutely going to paint a piece of furniture with this Country Chic paint because I'm impressed with it at this point and think I can have a successful project piece done. So when I do that, I will make sure that I put a video up for you guys so you can see a final piece done with the paint as well. I've done pieces before where I liked it on the board and I went to a project piece and I did not like it. So sometimes it just needs to be worked with on a bigger surface for you to really get the true test. But just using this practice board today, I don't have anything bad to say about the paint product itself. So I do want to talk about a little bit though the availability. There were not a lot of retailers. I think I searched within 50 to 100 miles and I think I didn't have anything close by. So, that's kind of a hit or a miss, and that's going to happen with these specialty paint lines, is sometimes you may not be able to find a retailer. I like to go because I love to look at the colors in person, and I like to, touch and feel the product. In this case, I ordered direct online from Country Chic and had no problem getting, what I wanted online. But the only thing that I didn't love was the shipping cost. And that has absolutely nothing to do with the product. Would that prevent me from buying it another time? No, it wouldn't, because I really did like the product enough that I would pay that, but it was a little steep on the shipping cost. I got 2 of the small jars and I think my shipping was $13.95. That's a little high, and I'm one of those people that I do not like to pay for shipping. So that was a little tough for me, but I got past it, and I'm glad I did because I do like the product. So let's talk about colors. They do have a lot of colors. I'm sorry I didn't exactly count. I believe they have about 20 colors. Don't quote me on that. It may be a little more, a little less, but their color selection and their color range is really good. The color I picked today was true to what I thought it was going to be, so I'm happy with that. And then the other thing that I really liked about this product was that it came in 3 different sizes, which not all paint lines carry multiple sizes of the product. So the ones that I used there were the sample size. They were 4 ounce, which are perfect for what I was doing today. They're also, you would probably be able to get a very small project out of that, maybe a small nightstand, obviously some, frames, things like that would be great. Price point was $8.95 on the 4 ounce, which is really good. Then they come in the pint 16 ounce, and that was $21.95. And then they also make a quart, which I thought was great, and that goes for $31.95. So price point in comparison to other like paints on the market, it's very competitive. So I would say that their price point was right in line with everybody else out there, and was not hard for me to go ahead and put the money out for it. So I think that's it in a nutshell. If I'm missing anything, let me think. I don't think so. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them down below in that comment section, and I will get back to you. I always like to hear feedback on these videos, and again, thank you so much for being a subscriber and following me. Please pass me along to anybody who you think would enjoy these videos, and definitely give that Country Chic paint a try if you haven't already. I really don't have anything bad to say about it, and I'm kind of excited to try a new project with it. So I will see you guys on the next one.